to talk live. Join to talk live. You can use any Chrome browser on any device. Be able to see your microphone and computer, and then what'll happen? It is that you will end up being able to see the we'll be able to interact and talk. So we're going to be doing our best to talk about all the good stuff as it relates to short-term rentals, real estate, business, etc. So make sure that you guys are here. And for those of you in our Facebook groups, I've got your information right over here on the screen so that I can see it. And I do believe, uh-oh, hold on. What? I do believe we actually have YouTube going correctly. Love the Panthers shirt. No problem. Yes, John, I'm assuming you're from that side of the country. I'm not sure. I'm making sure. Let me see. I see people. Crystal, I'm not sure why you say you have a black screen. I'm not sure why that would be. You should be able to see everything. Try hitting refresh. I don't know if you can hear me though. So there it is. And I'm just checking, even for those who are on the Facebook page, you guys should be good to go as well. Looking for those comments. So we should finally, Jack, yes, I can see YouTube comments today. So I'm pretty excited that we are beginning to figure that out. Joshua, I see you over there in the YouTube space. So this is good. I'm glad to know that we literally have comments coming from 5 different places, and that's pretty cool. So I'm here to do that. We are testing lots of things. Hey, Mark Del Rosario, how are you? John Williams, hello. Maria, hello. Rebecca is here, also known as the Queen of Questions. We'll see if she decides to join us live at all. Because, you know, we all know that she's got at least one question. So it's very, very simple there. Now, here's how this works. For those of you who don't know or may not have been here before, basically, we go for a little while, another hour or so, and I answer the questions as it relates to business, short-term rentals, etc. That's kind of what I do. And I'm also here to update you on a couple of things. I'm also here to update you on a couple of things. For those of you who are in our student groups, we have 2 of those in Facebook. Hi, how you doing? Nothing's really going to change for you guys, so that's good. For those of you who are not in a student group and or on the YouTube channel, we're in the process of reworking what our live stream schedule will be for the general public, because the Q&As are going to be reserved for our students only, and we will come up with we're coming up with a live stream schedule for you guys as well. So one more announcement. We are beginning to produce more content over on the gram. So feel free to go over there and check us out. We're doing our best as we can go. And then eventually, especially for those of you on YouTube or those of you out there in the webosphere, we are integrating Twitter to be able to ask questions, so that we'll be able to search the hashtag, be able to pull up your question as well, because I know not all of you, again, have access to the members group, and sometimes you still have a question and maybe we can absolutely catch it. So doing our best to help all of you go out there, become bigger, better, badder versions of your current selves to make that happen. So here's how this is going to work. Let me see if anybody, nope, no one has quote unquote rang the doorbell for a live chat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be taking the questions from the Facebook group or wherever I can see them, and we'll be able to, so whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or any of the Facebook groups or the Facebook page for that matter, let me check, and we'll be taking the questions from there in order to keep things going. Oh my goodness, there's lots of questions. Oh, Sylvia Taylor, how are you? I see you. This is going to be good. So let's go. Let's jump into the questions as we can. Let's see. Where is it? Rebecca, see, I knew she would have a question. She has one. Is there any other reason besides... Oh, hold on. hold on. I see somebody right there. Hold 1 second. Let's see. Hey, I can't hear you yet. Just give me 1 second. So, let's see. All right. Let me do this. I don't think that was the right move. Excellent. Let's see. Why can't I hear you? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear you. You're just coming through a different sound system than I expected. 1 second. That's weird. Let's try this one. There you are. Excellent. All right. How you doing, ma'am? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
So far, so good.
Oh, okay. So.
Is there an echo?
No.
Okay, perfect. That was one of the things I was wanting to test today, is make sure that there was no echo.
I guess.
I'm trying, Dave. Try.
Okay. So I'm dealing with resolutions from Airbnb. Oh.
Nope, that's me. Hold on. I know that's my fault. Give me a second. Say something.
Hello. How was your day?
Okay, keep going.
Okay. So you said there was a specific way to deal with Airbnb. Please share.
Okay, got it. So basically what you're saying is, Jay, I had an issue. Can you please help me?
Sure. So recap from your chat.
What's that?
Recap from your chat with the answer.
Yes, totally understood. But you're going to, you need to recap for everybody so that they understand what's going on exactly as well.
Yes, definitely. So to give everyone the backstory, I had a guest Saturday night that decided to throw a party. They also decided to smoke cigarettes and pot, or I'm sure both. Dave's sister in the unit. We found out around 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, Dave and I, we were at Universal, so
awesome.
We weren't monitoring as closely as we should have. So lesson learned, monitor as you should have. And so we involved Airbnb. I called them at 9 o'clock, and they would try and get a hold of the guest, in which point we had already tried to get a hold of the guest. We sent them 2 messages and called her twice. And they said they would call me back within the hour. An hour later, I called back, and the guy basically said, I wasn't your original person that you spoke with, so I can't help you. I'll let her know to call you back. Then in the meantime, they're being disruptive. We had already spoken with them via the Ring camera, saying, hey, you guys need to leave. You're now being evacuated. Evicted. You have broken our house rules. And the guy said, okay, we'll leave immediately. Then I believe at one point in the evening, we had called the police as well. And they had kept going. And Dave had also called dispatch for the second time, and they said at this point, we went over, we didn't see anything, so the property manager on site would have to call us. We told our property manager on site that the noise level is down, so it's not a big deal. At the noise level went back up, thanks to Noise Aware. And at midnight, I had called them again, Airbnb, and I said, look, you guys, this is ridiculous. I've called you guys 3 times, I'm not hearing anything back. What's going on? They need to leave. At which point the lady said, let me try and get a hold of her and call you back in 10 minutes. Hadn't heard anything. I leave my phone on now so that I can get my alerts as opposed to having it on silent. And the Ring camera just kept going off.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the phone with Airbnb. Property manager called me saying that the guest, it wasn't the original guest that placed the reservation. It was her friend. Was knocking on people's doors at 3 a.m. asking for a charger. So Airbnb couldn't do anything. They couldn't get a hold of her. and basically said, continue. They sent me an email. I gave them all the evidence of the disturbance. They said continue with that, and when they leave, file the resolution.
Okay.
So I had continued providing evidence throughout the day. I filed a resolution, totaled it to about $1,900.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, towels were missing. I got extra clothes from them. Our Apple TV was gone.
Okay.
They were very interesting because they turned over all of our USB ports. And they unplugged our Apple TV to a different port. So I don't know. These people were interesting.
No
so now I'm waiting for the resolution. I spoke with Airbnb. They called me at like 6 p.m. on Sunday. They're like, how did it go?
Are you seriously asking me that right now? That's what you're saying.
How
do you think it went?
After I sent in the resolution, the guest had messaged me after about like an hour saying, hey, I left some stuff at your place. Do you think I can get it back?
No.
At which point, being the copywriter that he is and a customer service rep, wrote a very kind letter stating that you guys had broken a bunch of rules and please respond to the resolution and we will give you your stuff back.
I didn't say we'd give it back.
He didn't say we'd give it back. I just give you my stuff and I give you your stuff, but you know. At which point she changed her profile picture to a red color. Okay. So she definitely knows that she is in the doghouse, I guess.
Yes.
So now, how would be a good way to have approached it other than early on? I know that that's what we would have done. Like, it just really felt like unless Airbnb spoke with her, nothing was going to be done. And then, like, how does this whole resolution thing work?
Got it. Totally understand. And let me be the first to say that welcome to the club. I mean, that's kind of what I want to say.
Oh, and we're superhost status, waiting until September for that. So I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. So here's the deal. What it comes down to is that when... Hold on one second. I can hear myself in a weird way. All right. Well, nope. That's not what I want. So what it comes down to is that at the end of the day, there's a number of things that we're going to help you improve upon, right? So first of all, this was a Saturday evening, right?
Right.
Or Friday night, Saturday.
Right.
Okay. How long was the reservation for?
1 night. That was all that I had open.
Okay. So number one, we do a minimum of 2 days on a Saturday. That is one of your best defenses against stuff like this. That is one of the best defenses. This was one of those places where you would put the minimum stay there for that reason. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So then sans that, now the question becomes, all right, I had a problem. What do I do? And more importantly, how do I solve it quickly when something goes wrong? If I understand you correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And how do you deal with Airbnb?
Got it. So one, I try to deal with Airbnb by not having to deal with Airbnb. That's the first number one. All right. So the first thing that, so when a situation or when I think a situation happens, first of all, because you're newer in terms of hosting individuals, when you begin to develop your, what I like to call expert intuition, you will be able to go, not that. You'll be able to understand and see better when something like this has the potential of happening. But in what you're going to begin to do, I'll tell you what I did. How about that? Because that's probably the best way to put this. So with our security system, and again, it's interesting that it happened over the weekend. So first of all, this was a multi-day stay. I think they were staying for 3 days. And our security system notified us that there was, they made the reservation for 1, but actually 5 showed up. So I've got this, obviously I've got the evidence on the camera. The first step there is just to notify them that, hey, you've got too many people. That type of thing is clearly where we were headed. However, before we had a chance to even do that, what we discovered is that they were having a party. Now we didn't discover the party while it was happening. We discovered it after it had actually started and ended. But to prevent it from happening again, here's how we address it. What you do is you have to coordinate. I call it like a three-pronged approach, if you will. First, the very first thing you must do is you must send them a message. For example, my message starts out something very aggressive to the tone of, "Hi, we've been notified by our security team." Now that could be a person, or it could have been our actual security system, that you have broken our house rules. We regret to inform you that we are terminating your reservation effective this time, whatever that time is that you want to put on it. Okay, so that's number one. And then we show them the evidence that we have right then and there of them breaking the rules, whether that be downloading the videos from the camera, whether that be leveraging noise aware in the screenshots. Whatever it is that we've got is what we then paste inside the message, so that they can click those links themselves, and see that we know that the wrong things are going on. All right, so that's number one. Now, simultaneously to that, we go ahead and get on the phone to advise everybody, let them know, here's what's going down. So we're telling them, here's what's going down. Now, there's 3 different levels of Airbnb support. There's the person who you typically get on the phone, which is, let's just call them customer service. And then there's the person who is what is known as the case manager. And then there's the person who is known as the trust and safety. You never want to have to deal with trust and safety. If it's trust and safety, it's pretty bad. But yeah, so this is probably a case manager issue, what you're describing. Okay. So when that happens, we get on the phone and get past that first level person to get assigned to a case manager. And we let the case manager know, here's what we are doing. We have done this. You can check the message history, because this is key. It's key for them to see that you have already communicated to the guest that this is what's going down. And then I tell them very clearly, we've done this. Here's all I need you to do. And then here's what we're doing next. What that means is, when I ask them to take their next step is I need you to contact them in whatever way you can to let them know that this is happening as well. And they then get on the phone, send a message, do whatever they need to do to contact them. Whether they get in contact with them or not is irrelevant at this point. What is relevant is that they are now aware. That's all I care about. Then after that, we send another message to the guests, letting them know, hey, just so that you know, we have made the platform, whatever platform this is, the process would be the same. We've made the platform aware that you have broken these rules that you previously agreed to, and that your reservation is being terminated effective whatever time period. Now, this is where it gets fun. I then, because we are using our security system is tied directly in to law enforcement or what have you, we then leverage that by saying, so that you know, as of whatever that time is, maybe it's an hour from the time you're sending the message, 30 minutes from the time that you're sending message, we are going to have our alarm system reset. Once that alarm system resets, please note that if you are still present at that moment, the authorities will be there to help us remove you. And please note, we are sending one of our security team personnel by as well shortly. Now, I hit send. Before I send that message, I have already contacted my runner. My runner is sitting in the parking lot waiting for my cue when to go knock on the door. I send that message, and then within the next 5 minutes of me sending that message, the runner knocks on the door to then make sure that they are aware that, hey, here's what's going down. Additionally, we will have staff or someone call whatever phone number they've given us as well. So understand, here's what's happening. We've got the first message that says, hey, this is what's happening. Then we've got the second message, which says, hey, we've notified Airbnb or whatever the platform is. Then then we've got a phone call comes to them, and then someone knocks on the door, and then and it's all referencing this now impending event. This impending event is we are going to reset the security alarm, and so that you know, once that happens, if you're still present, the authorities will be there to help us remove you. And because of the way that we have the security system set up, they go in as what is known as a verified emergency, which is something completely different than you just calling dispatch or 911, even something different than you calling 911. So let's be really clear. And what ends up happening is that your runner or you or whomever on your staff is right there to meet them should they not leave. Now, I've never had it go that far. Because when people know that, I mean, remember, they've been interacting with the security system the entire time, getting in and getting out. So they know it's there, right? And I've not had anybody try to call my bluff. Not that I'm bluffing, because I'm not. But I've not had anybody call my bluff. And what ends up happening is that
Dave said they called our bluff.
They called our bluff.
That's because you didn't have anybody to show up there. There's a number of things that didn't occur in the order. If you take the order of what I just put together, do you see the difference between what I'm saying and what actually happened?
Yeah, and the other thing that comes up is like when we found out that it was like at 9 o'clock on our way home, like immediately it was like, okay, I want to go there and shut this thing down. And then I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem like a smart idea because of safety, you know. And for me, like, my runner is a senior in high school, and I don't want to put her in that situation. So,
well, you got to, and something to keep in mind that on the camera, it was 99% of the people that were there.
Hear this voice, but don't see the man.
Yeah, sorry, I'm off camera. And 99% of the people that were there were in their mid-20s.
I understand.
Heavily tattooed, and what really did look like gang tattoos. I grew up, you know, surrounded. So anyway, like, it looked like a potentially violent situation.
Understood.
And I don't want to end up in a violent situation. I'm certainly not sending Jill down to a violent situation. And like, we want to go down there and protect our money, but at what cost, right?
No, totally understood.
Yeah.
And hear me clearly when this is what I'm saying. At those moments, this is where you can leverage, like I said, your own technology. Maybe you don't have a runner to go knock on the door, or you yourself are afraid to go knock on the door at the same time. Then that's fine. All you need to do is send those messages, send the phone call. These are all things you can do without actually putting yourself, quote unquote, in harm's way. But one of the other things you can also do is sit in your car in the parking lot while you wait to actually trip the alarm. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then now when you knock on the door, you have your version of a gang dressed in blue right there with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's really the difference. The difference is being very clear in your communication, and most importantly, not bluffing. This is not the time to bluff. I am never bluffing, but I've never had anyone even remotely, after they see the words, this is what is happening, and they know we've communicated and we keep communicating and we've called and we've left the message, I've never seen people leave so fast. I've seen them leave, but I've never seen them leave so fast.
Here's actually, well, not actually, but here's just a little expansion on what happened. So they pressed the Ring doorbell camera, the doorbell version of it, right? And they didn't mean to, but they got me there. And I had already sent the message saying, you know, because I had reached out to you and you sent me your verbiage, so I had sent it to him. So I had a guy on camera with the woman who we're pretty sure was the one who booked the reservation, completely and totally intoxicated behind him. I alert him by voice that it's been terminated, they need to leave. He asked me to restate the policy, asked me a bunch of questions, and then says, okay, we'll vacate immediately, then didn't vacate.
Yeah, no. When someone says they're going to vacate, your job is to help them, meaning it's time to get someone over there. That at that moment right there is when I would have had somebody there. Does that make sense? Hello? Oh, crud. I got rid of you. My bad. Sorry. I forgot your audio. So, but does that make sense? That's exactly the moment.
Makes sense.
So that first incident of when he says, we'll vacate, you follow that message up with, thank you for, being so cooperative, etc. We'll be sending one of our staff members by to assist you in this process. They will be there shortly.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Awesome. Real-time learning. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. So then the resolution portion. So
Got
what
it.
happens if she doesn't respond? When it expires, I can then click the button. A button will show up. So let everyone knows, a button shows after 72 hours of no response saying that involved Airbnb, at which point I get connected with the task and trust and safety department.
Mm-hmm.
And they get involved, and case manager couldn't tell me anything else. So like, what am I to expect?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Once I click the button to get trust and safety involved, like what happens next?
Frustration. What I mean by that is simply what's going to happen is that you are going to get escalated to the trust and safety department. Trust and safety is basically going to ask you to restate everything from the beginning, and then they're going to do the investigation, make sure you have all of the receipts of everything that you've replaced, etc., and then they take some undetermined amount of time to actually go ahead and get it resolved. Now, once it's resolved, great. That's great, but how long that process is going to take, who knows? But they will likely ask you many repeat and frustrating questions that you feel like you have already answered, and you'll have to re-answer them over and over and over again. And what's worse is that they typically deal with you only via email, which is very painful because they send such a volume of email anyway, so it becomes very easy to miss their emails. And I believe it's 72, it might be as short as 48, but if you don't respond within 48 to 72 hours to whatever their last email was, they automatically close the case, and you don't want that to happen because then it gets really difficult to reopen the case.
Right. So the stuff to replace, like, so I would have to replace it in order to get money for it?
Yeah. You have to prove your damages, whatever those damages might have been. So like you said an Apple TV, you said towels and sheets, etc. Those things, you might be able to get an additional cleaning fee, but it's kind of stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So now, for example,
we asked for $2 million.
Yeah, they're not going to give you that. That's okay.
So what I ended up doing was, when I got the first unit, I just planned for stuff to be broken and things like that.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah. So for like a bowl broke, right? So I have it there. Is there a problem that my date for the receipt is like 2 months ago?
No, because they either want to see a receipt for repurchase or the original receipt of the item that you actually purchased.
Okay, so I can get an original of the item.
That's fine.
Great, because they somehow pulled a thread from our rug.
Yeah, I've stopped trying to figure out how these things happen.
Ask if we're able to charge for our time.
So then the question is, I know in the past that Poppy has said, like, if we are replacing like a pampered chef knife, right? So we get the knife, we pay for the shipping, and we add time. Like, that.
Go for it.
Yeah, because
there's nothing wrong with asking. The question is, what will the adjuster, for lack of a better way of putting it, give you? I'm sorry?
Yeah, I just said, will you get it? Like, right, 'cause our Apple TV that they stole at Costco is $170, right? But between going and picking it up and then installing it and having to change every password and like, literally everything to keep them from accessing our paid content by plugging in at their house or whatever, it took 4 hours. So it's not $170. It's more like, $750 if we're billing at $200 an hour or whatever.
Sure.
But will we get that, right? Or have you asked for something like that?
Oh,
or
I often.
asking for
doesn't mean you get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
we did.
The one time I did, it's because I leveraged the security system, and the that's how my process got to be what it is because by leveraging the security system as well as the screenshots, etc., they tend to go in our favor, meaning they believe us more. It's like we're not just making it up. Look here, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I charge like 3 cleaning fees.
Yeah, absolutely, totally understood. Let's see how it goes.
Yes, cross your fingers.
All right. Thanks for being brave enough to come on out here and share with us. I totally appreciate that, guys. So we're going to say bye. There we go. And hi to the rest of you guys who are out there. So as you guys can see, we have this new feature, which I like, where you guys can join us live. So feel free to do so if you so desire. And I see all of these questions have now piled up from Facebook and YouTube and whatnot. So this is good. So let's get through them as quickly as we possibly can. Oh my goodness. Let me scroll back. Let me see. So Rebecca's got a question that says, is there any other reason besides talking with guests from other booking channels to use Tokeet's inbox instead of Smart B&B's inbox? No, Rebecca, there is not. Absolutely. Tokeet's inbox is a hot mess as far as I'm concerned. Yes, you got that right, Rebecca. And what's up with Automata, Tokeet's new thing? Can you update us on what Tokeet is releasing with the 5 different apps? I can update you, but Rebecca, it's not exactly... Yeah, that's why you were introduced to the tools I've told you about. So when I'm done testing some more, I will, when it's worth mentioning more, I will. How about that? I make you that promise. Right now, it's just honestly not worth mentioning. Mark, what says? It says, in your listing, do you state anywhere that there's a noise monitoring system in your unit? Yes, there is a disclosure at the bottom of your listing that is required. And if you're on a whatever platform you're on, you should be disclosing that you either have noise monitoring or security surveillance equipment. But let's be clear, you said noise monitoring in your unit. You cannot have surveillance equipment, things that record sound, video inside the unit. So you can have things that monitor the levels of sound. Those are 2 completely different things. So please hear me clearly when I say that. I saw a couple of threads where guests threw parties, and it seems like NoiseAware served as the last line of defense to continue monitoring situation once a guest who isn't doing the right thing defeats the Ring Vivid camera. Do you mount your NoiseAware in a spot that's difficult for guests to reach? You tend to put NoiseAware in a spot that guests don't tend to look. Is really what it comes down to. They just overlook it because they don't know what it is. They probably think it's an air freshener because the way it's shaped, I can see why they would. So yeah, they tend not to disable those because they don't know how at all. So yeah, they just don't know how, which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. So at the end of the day, that's how I see it. So let's see. There is Akila says, hello, hi, how are you? Rafa, do you give your guest a code for Vivid in case they set the alarm off or accidentally arm the system? No, I do not. I make our staff disarm the system, and if they set it off, I want to know. I want them to know that that thing is live and real. I want it to be inconvenient for them to disarm, disable in any way, shape, or form. And I don't want them doing it just because they feel like doing it. So no, they do not get a, they don't get a code for that. So yeah, no, don't want that to happen at all. Let's see. Mark, it says, I know that we can expect an $800 to $1,200 monthly profit averaged over a year if we follow the system on a 1-bed, 1-bath unit. As a general rule, would a 2-bath unit potentially average a better return than a 1-1, or is the average around 1,000 regardless of the number of bedrooms? No, the return is per bedroom. So take that 800 to 1,200 number mark that I've given you and multiply it per bedroom. And that's what you should expect. So if I have a 3-bedroom, multiply it by 3, 4-bedroom, 4, etc., etc. There you go. Russell, what's up? How are you? Steve is here. Dwight's here. What's going on? Sarah, Jay, it was in the triple digits in Minot this weekend, as in hot or triple digits cold? No, I'm just messing with you. We thought the world was ending. I feel like I'm behind the curve. So if you've already talked about this, I'll go find it in previous QA. But what is it something to use in conjunction with Tokit or instead of it? Got it. Yes, it is definitely something to use in conjunction with Tokit. So give me a second, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah. And what I'm going to do is I will pull some information up for you so that everybody can benefit from that as well. But I'm going to keep answering some of the other questions while I work on doing that. So understand what's happening right now is I'm doing 2 things simultaneously, which is kind of challenging to do, but we're getting it done. Either way. All right. Automate your business. Okay. And then, so there we go. All right. So with that being said, Akila, hey Jay, when it comes to growing and adding units, what advice do you have on how many units we should launch at a given time? For example, we're thinking about starting 4 monthly. Do you think this is too aggressive? What are your thoughts? Akila, it's really down to, it's really down to, I guess, the level of your team. I mean, the question is how good is your team? If your team can handle it and you can handle integrating that many units, then great. The most I've done at one time is 8, which again, I'm not necessarily recommending that, but I have done 8. So yeah, 8 anyway. So back to what Sarah was asking. Sarah was asking a question about a tool, and we have a link for you right there, cashflowdiary.com/STR data. What we, actually, you can't see me now, so I need to take that off. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in really fast, and let me see. Feel free, especially those of you on YouTube, keep typing in those questions. I'm making it over there, I promise. So here's the short and skinny of it, Sarah, because there'll be more videos inside for the members here shortly. Why is... All right, so apparently I can't seem to log in at the moment. Just give me 1 second. Plus the computer that I do that on is a tad bit slower. There we go. All right. Whoops. It's logged in now. So let's, All right. So let's take a quick gander here at what we've got. So basically what you're looking at is, again, one of the reporting engines inside the tool, which I like. So, you know, it gives you, in this case, this is last 30 days, things of that nature. But the part that's probably the most helpful by far that we've been referring to, or at least that Rebecca was referring to, are things like the messaging section, you know, being able to handle volume. Ooh, that conversion rate, it's about 8 points lower than I'd like. Anyway, being able to handle the volume of messages that you receive and being able to automate that. It's basically, think of, Sarah, taking all of your front end communication and completely automating it, including questions, training through using natural language programming to actually train and answer a lot of the questions that we all get from time to time. So Sarah, go to cashflowdiary.com/STR data, help a brother out, so to speak. And we'll definitely be talking more and more about that, showing you guys how I'm using it, because it has, for example, today, I haven't really had to do anything to run the entire portfolio. Like like nothing. Everything is automated. The cleaners it's just all happened in an automated fashion, which is kind of cool. So let me get back to more of these questions as soon as I find them. Nope, not that screen. Not that screen. And Akila says, please post the link to purchase the towel sheets duvet cover you purchased for your places. Akila, it should be inside the Facebook group already. Hey Candace, how you doing? Hey Marcy, what's going on? Hello Heather and Paul. Basilio, what's up? And Anthony, how are you? And Basilio, how much should we be charging for security deposit for studios and 1-1s? I like the number $250. I like the number $250, Basilio, so that works for me. Basilio, can you go over the workflow for searching for a unit to acquisition, please, particularly when we tell the owner about our company? Okay, got it. So, Basilio, the workflow is, again, it's been always the same. Determine who you want to serve. Use the worksheet that we've given you to help you figure that out. Once you've done that, draw the circle on the Google map, right? And then after you've drawn the circle, what you're going to do is you're going to go to that area, drive, get out your car, walk, look for the for rent sign. From the for rent sign, build your opportunity list. Again, it's inside your materials. Take your opportunity list, make the phone call. With that phone call, you start with, again, the very basic question, or use like, hey, my name is Jay. My company and I are looking to rent a number of properties in the area. Are you the right person to talk to about this? That's where it starts. Then what you need to do is go ahead and talk about whom you want to serve, which was back on step 1, which is when you completed that worksheet. So once you've completed that worksheet, then you actually know how to talk about that person. For example, let's pretend you were serving the medical traveler and you're looking at a property that's near a hospital. So you know how people come to that hospital right over there. Well, what happens is that they often travel with a companion. So when they're undergoing surgery or their procedure, they want someone that they care about nearby. And that person typically still prefers to be nearby, live in comfort, and it could be for an extended period of time. Thus, hotels don't necessarily work. So what we do is we provide clean, safe, affordable housing in order to help make that happen. And that's a very, very quick answer to what you just asked me. Ignat, how are you? Okay, let me keep looking for some more questions. I'm over on the YouTubes now. Jack says, I live in Idaho and my town is in the #1 place for Californians to move. So prices are crazy. I'm sorry. We're exporting inflation from California to Idaho. I have 2 rentals and I'm not sure what to do next. Regarding what? Are you saying you want more, Jack? I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. Help me out. And I see Henry. How are you? Harlan, what's up? Hey, Mark is now over on YouTube. That's good. Henry J, quick question. Your shirt has the logo of the Carolina Panthers. It's because I'm wearing a Carolina Panthers shirt. What do you think of short-term rentals in the Charlotte, Raleigh, North Carolina areas? That's where I live. Good. I'm from Fayetteville, just so that you know. And I think, and based upon what I've seen our students do, there's very little places where you're not going to be able to find a way to make this thing work. That's what I know. And if you're going to play the football, what's way more important, Henry, isn't do I think this area of the country works? What's way more important is who do you want to serve? And if you can figure out who you want to serve and learn to attract that person, then yeah, you're going to be completely fine. All right, let's look at the Facebook page, see if anybody, I see LaToya and Dwight's also over there, which is good. Oh, this is going pretty well today. Meaning when I say going pretty well, I'm just saying that, hey, all the technology is working. It's pretty nice right now. I'm pretty happy about it. So again, if you want to join me live, go to cashflowdiary.com/live link. We will bring you on live and get your questions answered. So get your questions answered. Anthony, when marketing to tenants, do you prefer shorter marketing platforms? I don't know what you mean by that, Anthony. What do you mean by what's a shorter marketing platform or longer marketing platform? I don't understand what you mean. Either come live or clarify, please. I'm going to read it again. It says, when marketing to tenants, do you prefer shorter marketing platforms like Airbnb or longer platforms? Dude, I'm lost. I'm sorry. If you want to clarify, I will gladly answer the question. But right now, I don't know how tall is Airbnb. I mean, sorry. When you say shorter, I'm sitting here thinking height. I'm like, I didn't know they had a height. So I don't know what you mean right now. I would like to know what you mean, though. Madison, how are you? Let's see. Can you speak further on how most students set up their financing structures if they don't have their own funding? I watch the financing options of the blueprint and understand the difference between equity investor, debt investor, but how do they actually structure it with revenue splits? What's required upfront, interest payments, paying their investor back, and so on? Madison, then I'm not sure you got it, because there is no one. The number one thing to understand, Madison, when it comes to how you set up your structure is that it is, what's the word? It's not a one size fits all approach. There is no wrong answer. For example, I've taught this concept a lot, especially when it comes to raising capital. It's how do I say it? You cannot prescribe a solution. So your deal structure is the prescription. So you first must diagnose, and in order to diagnose, you need to ask a significant amount of questions. You must ask a significant amount of questions in order to find out what the person who's contributing capital is actually looking for. So based upon what they're looking for is how you put the deal structure. There is no flat. You're not. And I know you've got sales experience, so you're not going to put together a package and then go pitch it. That's not how this works. What you are going to do is find out what they're looking for and then customize something that fits their needs. And so what's in the financing section is a way to think about the 3 different structures that will work to help you grow the business. All of them fit, but it's all negotiable. So there is no like, well, give them, I take 20, you take 80, 60, 40, 30, 40, 20, 10, 7%, 8%. Everything is on the table. The question is what's going to meet their need? That's really the answer. What's going to meet their need? I make recommendations of when to use each of those tools, but it's based upon the fact you must go first and understand what their need is. So hopefully that adds some clarity to it. Brianna, how are you? Hey Jay, hope all is well. Trying to find a unit in Jersey City and happen on Airbnb friendly building. Awesome. What are your thoughts on buildings like this where they have a partnership with Airbnb? I would like some of them out here, to be honest. I want to see how they work because that would be very, very helpful. I would like to see more of them because the more progress we all make together in this regard, the better. The more progress we all make in this regard, to better. So if the landlords are on board, it's going to make it easier for you to operate. Hopefully, let's go figure it out. Anthony, I meant the tenants normally stay for like shorter stays or platforms that have longer stays. Anthony, I don't know what you mean. Here's what I'm saying. I've been able to get acquire tenants from various platforms that have stayed all kinds of lengths, whether it's booking.com or Airbnb. I've gotten people from Airbnb that have stayed 6 months, 8 months. No, 6 months. 100. What's 182 days? 100. Yeah, just a little over 6 months. I've gotten people that stay a day, obviously. I've gotten 3 weeks, 6 weeks. I don't know that the platform necessarily influences length of stay. Maybe it does, but yeah, I don't know. Well, so again, when I go back to your question, when marketing to tenants, do I prefer shorter marketing platforms or longer? I prefer a marketing platform that helps me get the customer, whether it's short or long. Because ultimately, remember, if you're following the system as we laid it out, what's going to happen is you're going to build your own database, go listing site independent, and be able to drive your own traffic to your own website, build your own database. Now, for those of you who are only got 1 or 2 listings, please ignore everything I just said. But for those of you who are here, because that's what I can help you with. If you want to build that crushing large super business, that's where we specialize. That's what we do. If you want to find out more about that, feel free to go to cashflowdiary.com/star, cashflowdiary.com/star, because there's a presentation that's right there waiting for you to figure out how you can grab your first short-term rental from scratch for sure. So with that being said, What is it? Let me see. Anthony is laughing. Madison says thanks. That's perfect. Let me go back over to the YouTubes. See what we've got. Can we talk about Toki? We can, David. You have to ask a question, though. I need a question. So, yeah. Jack says, I stuck because the prices are so very high for property. I just cannot get any deals, any ideas. Okay. Again, Jack, I guess what I'm missing is what you're actually asking. Can you get a deal? Of course you can get a deal. Deals are created. Deals don't sit around and wait. If prices are low, then you have to get more creative. Either it's the creative financing side or creative acquisition side, or it's a combination of both. Or you change the customer. That's one of the things that led to this entire strategy, was changing the customer in and of itself, because that's key. By changing the customer, whom it is that we're serving inside the apartment building, changes everything. So hopefully that makes some sense. I don't know if that answers your question though. Keep going. Go back to Facebook. See what we've got. Okay. So as you can see, oh, good Lord, here they are. All right. I've heard Dave say this is really only for apartments. That's Gary on Facebook. I'm not sure what the question is. The system is for 1 to 2 bedroom houses as well. I've heard you say look for the for rent sign. I assume you meant houses for rent. Whether it's houses or apartments, Gary, doesn't really bother me one way or the other. There's room for using single family houses. I just prefer not to use them because I have used them in the past. They're just more work than I want to put forth for the type of customer that I'm looking to serve. Some of you who are trying to serve larger parties that are traveling together, or even a super high-end party, or traveling party, houses is totally what you're going to need to do in order to make it work. Or if you're doing the insurance work, i.e. working with people who have been flooded, mold remediation, that type of stuff. It's kind of where you're going to have to live. Gary, I asked because what if someone else has already asked all the apartments near me, and either the answer is no, or someone is already working with these apartments, want to make sure there's long-term viability in my area, if that makes sense. Nope, it actually doesn't. Because just because someone else has asked, that means absolutely bupkis. Because if you're following the system that we've laid out, there have been many times where our students get a yes, where other people got a no, simply because of the approach and the understanding of the professionalism. That did not come out right. Understanding the professionalism behind the system, especially when it comes to security and screening. Adrian, what's going on? Jay, is it correct that you need a real estate license in order to legally rent out a unit for more than 30 days? I don't want to run into any legislation, so I'm thinking of unchecking the will accept longer reservations in Airbnb. I don't know where if it's, so long as, again, Adrian, this comes down to your business model. Who do you have a lease, and are you working for someone else's property? Meaning, are you leasing on behalf of someone else, or are you obtaining a lease and then releasing said property? So, that's really the answer to your question. That's really the answer to your question. Because I love checking that will accept longer reservations button. It's really convenient. It's really convenient. Scott, what's going on? How to handle grills, charcoal versus gas? Do you provide the grill, charcoal, gas, liability, etc.? Nope, we do not. Period. Also, can throw a link to your business credit video. That's a good question, Scott. I don't have it. I will ask Dave to make that link, to let me know what that link is, because I don't have it right now. Or actually, maybe I do, and I just don't know that I have it. Give me 1 second. I think, yep. It's cashflowdiary.com/fund, F-U-N-D, me. Cashflowdiary.com/fund me. Give me 1 second. I might be able to pull that up for you really quickly. if I can. Fund me. I am totally making this on the fly. So, boom. There you go. There you go. So, let me go back, get these last questions because time is almost out, as you guys have seen. How you like the little clock in the corner? I do. I do. I'm looking for more questions. Oh, there they are. Oh, Madison. Steve, do you use a welcome message with a recap of the reservation, i.e. welcome to the reservation that's for 2 guests? What does your guest contract consist of? And yes, inside our messaging, Steve, yeah, we definitely recap the number of guests for sure and the time so that they know, they being the guests, know exactly how many people we've said or they've said were going to actually be present. So I think that was what you were asking. Hey, James McDonald, how are you? Sarah, I have a phone call scheduled with Clearbank this week. Is there anything in particular they want to hear? I'm just barely meeting their minimum requirements, so I want to make a good impression. No, they just want to know, if you've qualified based upon the numbers. It's not like you gotta please them or do something, and there's no need to send any cookies or anything if that's what you're thinking. So you should be good. Would you use condos as short-term rentals? No. Condos with HOAs, that's exactly why I wouldn't, because we have enough work to do to deal with neighbors, to deal with neighbors, is more than enough work at the end of the day. So yeah, no. I think I don't see. Let me go back to the YouTubes. What do you charge your students? Well, here, I will answer that question this way, Jack. I feel like we charge them too little, and I say that because that's what they tell me. So that's what I do know. I do know that what we have put together allows many of our students to build a 6- and 7-figure income because they've done it in a very, very short period of time. So the question is not what do we charge, but what is that actually worth? That's a good question to think about at the end of the day. But if you want to find out, go over to cashflowdiary.com/star. That'll get you started. And how about this, Jack, you can go there for free. It's just going to cost you some time. And then once you've invested that time, if you feel like we've earned continued influence, go for it. If not, no big deal. No harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. All right. Looking for those last few questions that are there, because if I know the clock, we are running out of time. Okay, scroll. But what does your guest contract consist of? What does my guest contract consist of? I don't know how to answer that question because I don't know exactly what you're asking. I mean, it in essence, it just restates what was agreed to in terms of house rules, the cost amounts, and cancellation fees, etc. I think that's the answer or the question or what you're asking, but I'm not 100% certain. Basilio, is there a tool we can use to have our guests enter their name, email, and our social media handles to access the internet? Basilio, I'm just going to say yes. Okay, so stay tuned for that one. We will definitely be sure to educate our members on that stuff. And just as a reminder for everyone, as we said, we are doing our best to upgrade our ability to interact with you from being able to bring you guys on live. So maybe next week, if you've got a question and you want to say it live, that would be awesome. Not necessary, but definitely awesome. We're updating the live streaming schedule and our video production. And as I mentioned at the beginning, by all means, go show us some love over on the gram because, I think that's pretty cool that we're there too. So feel free to head on over there, click that follow button, and we're going to be producing more and more content because it's actually kind of fun doing that. doing that. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's past that time for me to jet. I hope things continue to go well. Know that we will be back to answer more of your questions, especially for those of you in the members groups, to make sure that you guys keep going in the correct directions. It's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.